First and foremost, thank you for clicking on this video. I honestly didn't know what to title it or how to go about just posting this type of content, because I feel like we all have seen how they're shadow banning people who come out and speak the truth, or even just talk about certain topics. Then they want to try to mislabel it as misinformation when they know it's the truth, but they don't want the truth out. So in this video, I'm going to try to be as detailed as I possibly can be without saying certain words, because y'all know they're gonna flag the video, or they're probably gonna take the video down, and I don't want that. I actually want this video to reach as many people as it possibly can. And yeah, and also this video is not meant to fearmonger. It's not meant to get anybody riled up. This is just the truth, and I feel like if you have eyes to see, then at this point, like, people who talk about like conspiracy theorists this, conspiracy theorists that, at some point you have to open your damn eyes. Like, I feel like I don't have patience for people who are willingly wanting to be blind at this point. And for a really long time, especially as I really started to become aware of the world that we live in and how evil it is, I feel like although I comprehended the things that I was seeing and all the questions that I had and the answers that I was getting, so basically, like, I could digest the information that I was getting, but it was hard for me to wrap my head around just the reality of the world that we live in. And I feel like I extend grace to people who have a hard time accepting the reality of the world that we live in, because they have lied to us about a lot of things, and they try to make things out to be a certain way that it's really not. And they literally put the truth in our faces because they have to. It's just karmic law. But like, they have to tell us the things that they're doing, but they label it as entertainment, as fiction, as, oh, this is not real. But the reality is these things are real, and a lot of what we want to believe to be fiction, a lot of it is not fiction, and that's the crazy part about it. So it's just like, I need people to get out of this mindset of, oh, you guys are just spreading fake news, or you guys are just, you know, like, overthinking things, because it's like, no, you're underthinking, and that's the problem. I notice people who are critical thinkers in this world, who ask the right questions, they are made out to be crazy, when it's like, we're not crazy. Y'all are the ones that are asleep, and y'all need to wake the hell up. So in this video, like I said, I'm going to try to be as detailed as possible without saying things to get myself into situations that I don't want to be in. You know, like, I'm not trying to get like kidnapped or, you know, whatever the case is. So I need you guys to read in between the lines, because there are certain words that I just can't say. But also, I'm going to try to leave some links in my description, so that way you can do a little digging yourself. But also, some words that I might not be able to say, or certain videos that I might not be able to play because it's copyrighted, and I don't want to bring any attention to the video. Well, at least I want to bring attention to it, just not from the people that I don't want to see it. And also, if you can, just try to pay attention to like the visual of the video and not just the audio, because I'm gonna pop certain words on the screen in case I'm not able to like say it in a different way, or I might even enter screenshots within the video of things that I can't say, but you know, if you see it, then you'll understand what I'm saying. So let's just get straight into the video. So if you guys haven't been keeping up with the news just across the world, in China there's currently a sickness that is going around, which started again in the same place that the last sickness started in, which is, I don't find to be coincidental. But it's like, there's literally a new sickness that is going around, and it is said to be affecting children, and it is also said to be a respiratory sickness that is spreading just like how the last sickness was spreading. So when I saw that, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, the year just started and you guys are already bringing something out. Like, I don't have the patience for the US anymore, because it's just like, if something don't work, y'all got something else planned. If this don't work, y'all got something else planned. And it's just like, we're tired. Like, we are over it, and you guys are just backing out your magic tricks. And it's like, can we get a rest? Can we get a break, please and thank you? And the crazy part about it is, I literally watched a video on YouTube like 2 to 3 years ago about something very similar to this being predicted to happen by the same person who predicted what happened the last time. And it's just like, how are you coming up with these things and then they're just magically happening? Like, at some point, people who are still denying that these people are not evil, y'all have to open your eyes, because There's no way that y'all are still in oblivion. It is literally no way that y'all are still not able to see what is going on. And that's the part that really bothers me about certain people in society, because it's like, can y'all open your eyes? Like, but besides those people, I'm happy to see that there are so many people in the world that are waking up to just the reality of the things that are going on in the world, to where it's like, when we see things happen, like, we already kind of have an idea of what's going on without being rocked to sleep by what media is trying to tell us is going on, or that things just randomly happen, when it's just like, no, you guys are intentionally doing things, and at this point a lot of people see it. But again, a lot of people don't see it. But y'all, I swear 2 years ago, I watched a detailed, and it was a sort of lengthy video on YouTube of this billionaire. I'm gonna put his name on the screen because I just don't want to say his name to even bring any attention to the video. But I swear I watched a video on YouTube where he was discussing basically a simulation with the prediction of what is to happen in 2025. And the crazy part is, it's not even like he just threw out a random date like 2025. He literally said in 2025 it's going to happen, as if it's like a definite. And it's like, how do you say something as definite and you're not God? You get what I'm saying? How do you say something as definite without you knowing that it could happen? Like, first of all, how do you have this whole thing planned out unless, like Steve Jobs said, the best way to predict the future is to invent it? And this billionaire that we're talking about right now literally predicted something in the past, and it happened in 2019. And then he predicted something in 2022 as a simulation. And now all of a sudden there's possibility that that prediction is coming to fruition. Like, you can't tell me that's not suspect. Like, I know it's not suspect. Like, you cannot tell me this man is not evil, because at this point it's just like, why are you doing this? But another crazy part is, when I tell y'all, I literally have looked up and down for this video on YouTube, I could not find it. Like, I could not find the full video that I know I watched 2 years ago. I even checked Google to try to see if I could find it and look through different articles to see if they maybe had the video linked on a different website. I could not find the video anywhere. And I know I watched that video, and I even remember what certain parts of the video look like. And I cannot find the video anywhere. It basically seems like they scrubbed the entire internet of the video, because I could not find it. And I really wanted to find the video so that way I could link it in the description. So whoever's watching this video, y'all can go watch it yourselves, just to know I'm not BSing you. But I could not find the video anywhere, and I'm so mad about it. But I do remember certain parts of the video, so I'm kind of just gonna go into it so that way it kind of puts things into perspective. So like I said, I tried to do research to find the video that I know 1000% I watched and that existed, but I cannot find it. But I did happen to come across a article that said on October 23rd of 2022, John Hopkins Center partnered with WHO and the Gates Foundation to basically reenact a pandemic, right? And they called it, I'm gonna put it on the screen. And I don't think this is the video that I watched, because the video that I watched, it didn't involve other people. And this video does talk about what I saw in the first video, but not in depth to what I saw in that video. And I don't recall there being other people in that video besides the billionaire talking and basically going over the simulation of what it would look like with what's to come. So I don't think this is the video. The clip that I did see for this fictional situation, it was about like 2 to 3 minutes long. And y'all, I'm editing this video right now, and I think it's so important to also point out that if you can watch something like this, which this video, I'm gonna link it below in the description so you guys can go watch it, but this is said to be a fictional scenario. And I just want y'all to really think about, when you watch it, it does not present itself as though it is fictional. And you got to really start to question, like, if these people are actors, but it looks like you're watching the news, or like you'll be watching something that's really happening for real, what's to say that when we are watching the news that we can fully trust it? You get what I'm saying? Like, these people are actors, but they're also showing up in a way where it looks very real, just like how we could be watching the news, which we perceive to be real when they could just be acting. So I think that's just another interesting thing that I just wanted to point out. But the video that I watched 2 years ago, I believe it was only the billionaire talking for about 20 plus minutes, going over literally the simulation like he did when he predicted the first one. So basically me finding this particular video does correlate to the video that I watched before, but it's not the same video, because like I said, that video was him going over the entire simulation. And I'm gonna just go into some parts that I do remember of that video. And if anybody else has watched that video, can y'all please comment? Because I know I'm not bugging. Like, I mean, I know I'm not bugging, but it's like, I know for me to come on here and talk about it, people are gonna want to see sources. People are going to want proof. So it's just like, listen, help me out, y'all, because I know I watched what I watched. So if you also watched it, please go in the comments and, you know, share just what you remember and all of that. But anyways, let's get back to this. So I basically tried to recall my memory of everything that I remember from watching that video, and I wrote it down so that way like I don't lose my train of thought. So I'm just gonna read my notes, and then from there I'll just do the rest of my commentary off the top of my head. So it was basically him going over how if we were to have another event, which he magically predicted again, which would happen in 2025, he was explaining how it would be a respiratory sickness that would mostly affect children this time, and it could be really deadly. And I remember in the video, he was talking about overpopulation and basically just the different variables that would be manipulated in order to affect population. So basically from what I remember, I believe in the video, he was just going over like, how do we combat like overpopulation and what are the different variables that could be manipulated. And I can't remember exactly what each variable was, but I do remember there was about 4 or 5 of them. Like, I know that for sure. There was about like 4 to 5 variables. All right, I know there was something talking about like natural disasters. I know there was something talking about like food and famine. I know there was something talking about diseases and sickness. I also remember there being something about like carbon footprint. I don't know if that was the subject or if population was the subject. There was something about like carbon footprint or like gas emissions, like something that measured like human activity. And then if there was something else, I can't remember what that was. So you guys know like how in science class we will have like a problem that we're trying to solve. In this case, the subject of observation, I believe it was overpopulation, or it was something about like carbon gas emissions. Like, I can't remember which was what, but I know all these things that I'm saying right now was in that video. And then you know like how you would come up with a hypothesis to test your theory, right? So I remember he was up on the stage, and behind him was a big projector where he was displaying just a simulation, and he had the 5 variables in like, you know, little circle bubbles, and he was basically talking about how those 5 variables could be manipulated in order to affect the changes in overpopulation. Then I remember he went over each one, giving an example simulation of how that specific variable would play out. Again, I can't remember the specific variables, even though what I did say earlier, I believe those were it. I'm just not sure exactly how it was like worded, but I remember something was about natural disasters. I remember something was about like food and famine. I remember something was about diseases and just like sickness. Like those 3 I'm confident in, but the other 2 I can't remember what they were. And then after going through all of them, I remember diseases being the most effective outcome. Then I believe when he started talking about what the next event could look like, he somehow magically predicted that it would be a respiratory sickness that would affect children, I believe under the age of like 11 or 12. And I literally remember when I was watching that video and that part came up, I was just like, yeah, I'm not bringing kids into this world. I'm a 25-year-old who I always said I would love to get married one day and have children. And I remember when I got to the video where he said the sickness would affect children under the ages of 11, 12, I was just like, yeah, I can't bring kids into this world, because if you guys could be sick enough to affect, first of all, the fact that y'all are even like doing these things against humans is beyond me. But you know what, like I'm currently watching a show right now on Netflix called The Last Kingdom, and it's really opening my eyes to how like greed and power will literally cause humans to do the most inhumane thing. And it's just so disgusting, because it's like, how are you a human treating other humans this way and your conscience doesn't feel like no type of way? Of course, I don't know how these people are behind the scenes, but it's like, how can you come up with these crazy things. And it's just like, how are y'all so comfortable experimenting on other humans and you don't feel bad about it? Like, that's evil behavior. And the fact that these are the people that we have in charge is beyond me. Like, it's just so disgusting. So this right here is basically the acronym of the fictional event that is supposed to happen. And now all of a sudden in China, we have something very similar, and now they're saying that it's affecting children. So it's just like, y'all can't tell me that you guys are not doing these things on purpose. And for the people who are still blind to what's going on, I need y'all to wake up, because it's getting real out here. And they're not backing down. Like, they're going to keep attacking us. And honestly, I'm not really sure how we as the people can really just avoid these things, because honestly, I always say I just want to find me a little island that no human occupies, because honestly, everywhere humans go, y'all just find a way to destroy it. But the reality is, this is not just happening in America, and now they're saying that there's cases in the US, and it's just like, y'all, I'm not putting another mask to my face. Like, I got severe acne from those masks, and I'm not doing it. Okay, if I have to stay in my house, I will comfortably stay in my house, but I am not wearing a mask. Like, it was literally the worst thing ever. It was the worst thing. So it's just like, the billionaire who has predicted the first events that came to passing has then predicted a second fictional event, which people are putting articles of, oh, this is not real, it's debunked. But when it happens, y'all gonna have egg on y'all face and y'all gonna be looking dumb, because y'all want to sit here and believe, oh, it's just fictional, when it's just like, no, they're going to tell you what they're planning on doing. And hopefully people who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear and a brain to critically think, you're going to take the necessary steps. And of course, I'm not saying we need to go crazy like people did the last time, but it's just like, make sure you are prepared. But most importantly, don't fall into the fear mongering that they're going to do online. This video is not meant to fear monger. This video is just to spread information that I once collected that I can no longer find. So my intention with this video is just to spread information, and information that is not false. So if they try to label this misinformation, I mean, I already know the system is just garbage, but like, I would really be so mad, because it's like, I know what I watched and I am not crazy. I'm a very mentally sane person, and I know what I watched. And the fact that it's not on the internet and now these things are coming to pass is just like, come on. And I think it's really important that people don't feed into the things that they fed into the last time. And I'm not here to tell anyone what decisions to make in terms of what to do with your body and just your livelihood. Personally, not that it's anybody's business, but I'm just gonna say it, I didn't get any type of poking the last time, because I just wasn't gonna do it. Like, you're not about to put nothing in me, and then you got all of a sudden people dying prematurely of heart issues and body failures, that a lot of people for some reason are not correlating back to that. But that's another thing. I've never once gotten sick within that time period, but everyone who obviously had to get the poking, they got sick, because, you know, like, you're putting it in your body. And luckily I was running my own business during that time, so I wasn't peer pressured into getting it. And to be honest, them saying, oh, you can't go here, you can't do that, listen, I was cool off of that. As long as I had fresh air to go outside, the supermarket, it was a fun time for me, especially since I do cooking content. But it's just like, this time around, you're definitely not going to get me with that. So it's just like, I feel like for certain people it helped them, maybe, I don't know. So like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your body, but it's just like, if you really paid attention to just how people's bodies were reacting to that, I wouldn't make the same mistake a lot of people had to. And unfortunately, a lot of people were forced into making, I wouldn't even say forced, because honestly, we have free will. But when it comes down to threatening a person's livelihood, I definitely do understand why people you know, felt really pressured into doing it because it's like you have responsibilities. You want to keep a roof over your head. You want to keep your job. But I just don't think it's fair that they even did that, because if you guys paid attention to the trend of that time period, especially when it started to fade out, they basically tried to make it seem like, oh, you guys have to get this. And a lot of people were forced into doing it. Just for them, I believe it was like a week or two later, just like saying everything is open and, you know, like, oh, it's just a common cold now. That's when I'm like, y'all don't see what they're doing. I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. And honestly, these are the type of conversations that I want to have on this channel, but I have to find a way to have the conversations without getting in trouble for having the conversations. You understand what I'm saying? So I really do hope that this video reaches as many people as it can reach, and I hope that you guys are just being aware, honestly, like just keeping your attention on what's going on. Of course, like, don't feed into the fear mongering, because one thing about media, they can't get us through television anymore with all like the propaganda. So social media is the new place for that, because a lot of people don't watch TV. They're on like streaming and just like, you know, YouTube and Instagram and things like that. So that's where the fear has transferred, and it's even more bombarding because content is just constantly rolling out from different areas. So listen, if you're going to be on these apps, please protect your mind. Like, don't allow the fear to consume you the way that I feel like it did a lot of people the last time, because the media does lie about a lot of things. The media is not going to be upfront about real results. They're going to fabricate things, whether to downplay it or to make it a lot more exaggerating than it actually is, just to provoke fear in people. So it's just like, just be mindful and be discerning of the information that you are collecting off of the internet. Like I said, I think it's great to be prepared and to keep your eyes open of just what's to happen. But it's like, don't live your life in fear. You understand what I'm saying? Like, just be aware, but also don't be blind. Don't be ignorant. Don't willingly dig your head in the sand because it's too much going on. Like, I completely understand, because I completely understand, like, taking in all this information can make a lot of people just anxious and depressed and just, you know, just real chaotic in the mind. So it's really important that you keep yourself grounded, log off social media, and just find ways to calm your mind. Go read a book, go meditate, go do some yoga, listen to music or something like that. But it's also really important to be aware. Basically, it's really important for you to have that balance. Peek your head into the matrix and see what's going on. Take yourself out of the matrix and relax yourself and just live and exist. Basically, what I'm trying to say is disconnect from the matrix, but also be aware of what's going on in the matrix, because we do live in the matrix and it does affect us. But just don't allow it to consume you to where it's like that's the only thing on your mind. You know, still live your life, but also be really responsible. If I'm being completely honest, I wouldn't be spending on BS, and I would save, and I would just, you know, like, prepare your homes and just declutter and just get your space comfortable, so that way if we do happen to be inside, you're in a functionable environment that is just good for your mental well-being. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna end this video here, and like I said, I hope it does reach people that it needs to reach. And I don't want to see nobody under my comments talking about, oh, it's fake, it's not gonna happen. Listen, when it happens, you are the idiot that I'm talking about, okay? And I don't mean to be mean, but it's like, I'm tired of the people that just don't want to open their eyes. Like, you have to open your eyes, okay? You have to.